potato chips are terrible. Lay's potato chips are terrible.
Hi.
I didn't send the Discord message. First, what up, Rat? We have to decide what I'm doing on stream today, and this could have implications for next week as well. Draw on stream. I do want to do... Remember when I did like a guess the animal I'm drawing stream? I want to do that again at some point, but not today. Draw on your stream camera? That's such a bad idea. Okay, I'm gonna let the stream go until we're at around 5-ish minutes. Maybe bad idea is my first and last name. So true. Maybe not 5 minutes. I'm going to go until for about another minute or so, see if anyone else filters in, and then we have to decide what I'm doing today on stream. I have two options. I don't know which one I want to do. So here's what we're going to do. At 4 minutes, I'm going to run a 1-minute ad because I still have to do these goddamn fucking requests. I have 2 more I have to get through for ad times. And then we'll decide what we're doing today. God damn it, Rat. How expensive do I have to make these ad times so you guys don't just spam them? Holy shit. All right, chat. I'm going to run the first one real quick. I'm going to run a 1-minute ad time. Mark that is completed. The good news is it stops pre-roll ads. I haven't had a pre-roll ad on stream in like literally all week. You got a pre-roll today? Yeah, pre-roll always starts, like when I start stream, it always starts with pre-rolls, and then it disables for a certain amount of time. Like, trust me, I tried, chat. I tried to disable pre-rolls when I start stream. There's no way around it. But what it does is when it runs an ad, it'll disable pre-rolls for so long unless I run an ad. So me running these ad times is stopping pre-rolls for like the rest of stream. Rat didn't get a pre-roll because maybe you keep buying ads. Maybe. That could be it. That might be it. Okay. Do this. Do this. Oh wait, you know what I can do actually? Hang on. Okay, hang on. I can do this. I would like to buy 3 more ad times. I can't. Here's the thing. I can't stop you from spending your. I physically cannot stop you from spending your channel points how you would wish. I just can't, right? But what I can do is say, hey, maybe we should think about that. And I can also limit how many of the ad times I run, which is why I changed it to where I only run 1 an hour. I will only ever run 1 ad time every hour. Just because I worry. Rat, you can stop yourself from spending your points how you want. So true. What I worry about is that affecting the overall viewing experience in a way that I do not want it to. So that's why I run 1 an hour. It's a 1-minute ad. And that's the max that I will do. That is the max that I will do. All right, chat. So we have to decide what I'm doing on stream today. I have 2 options. I have 2 things that we can do, that we can choose from. Option 1, pretty simple. I play Jump King today. Right? Option 2, we start watching, and I don't know if you guys have seen this on TikTok. We start watching Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Because I don't know if you've seen this shit on TikTok. It is a TV show. It is 52 parts, 10 minutes apiece, 9 total hours of content about this lady talking about the story of her and her ex-husband. And it is tea. It is hot tea. And I kind of want to watch it. So if we don't watch it, I'll probably end up watching it. I will definitely end up watching it off stream. Keep in mind, if we start watching Who the Fuck Did I Marry, we will also be watching it Sunday and Monday. And then Tuesday through Friday next week will be Mario Kart. We could also do Jump King today. Sunday through Tuesday, watch Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Mario Kart. I am open to opinions to see what we want to do as a collective. It is entirely, I'm leaving this in the hands of chat today. TV. Do you guys want to watch Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I watched the first couple parts while I was making dinner today. I promise, chat, it's good. It's good. I'm not on TikTok, so this is really my only opportunity to watch it. Okay, we'll watch it. We'll watch it. I'm so down to watch this, is the thing. So we're going to start at part 1. So this, chat, This is Risa. This is Risa M. Tisa on TikTok. We're going to start at the introduction and disclaimer, so I'm not going to give a whole bunch of context, but pretty much she has lived a fucking movie, and she is giving this to the world for us to experience the movie, is what I will say. It is a playlist on TikTok. I am not lying. Why is this? Yeah. There are 50 parts to Who the Fuck Did I Marry? We're going to start at the introduction. And the introduction's good enough. I watched it beforehand. I don't think I have to give you the introduction, so we're just going to start. And what I'll do, actually, we're on part 1 out of 52. We'll keep track of how far we are through it. There. We're on part 1 out of 52. Every time we go to a new TikTok, I will update that. But get ready for this shit, chat. This is going to be what we do for the next 3 stream days. Goddamn, I really am a streamer, aren't I? I'm fucking reacting. Hang on. All right. I'm going to switch over to just chatting. TikTok, react. Who the fuck did I marry? Risa Tisa. Viral. There. I don't know. Fuck it. Why not? All right. Let's get started. Who the fuck did I marry? Part 1, introduction / disclaimer. Buckle in, chat. Get ready. Get cozy. Get your snackies. Let's start this shit.
Hi. And
I'm going to start now. I will be pausing. We're going to do as much as I can. We're going to do an ethical reaction, so I will pause. So be ready for that.
welcome.
I just learned the spacebar works.
You know why you're here? You're here for part of the new series that I'm calling Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I'm going to create this playlist.
I think what we'll do at the end of each part, we will stop and we will discuss. And we will talk about what that part entailed. Also, yes, before you ask, I am watching this on TikTok.com. I'm sure people have re-uploaded it to YouTube, but we're not going to do that.
This series, and I'm going to tell the story of how I met, dated, married, and divorced a real
Is that volume better? Is this a better volume for the TikTok to be at?
pathological liar. This is my introduction / disclaimer video. First and foremost, I'm going to be truthful, even if it makes me look bad. I'm going to be honest.
That's respectable. When I was watching this the first time, I was like, that's respectable. To not change the story. To just be like, yeah, I'm going to tell the story as it happened, how it happened, even if I look like a piece of shit.
But I'm also not going to be disrespectful to anyone that was involved. I'm not going to use people's real names because I don't have their permission to do so, and the sister does not want any sort of litigation. I will tell you off the top, I have a sense of humor and I have sarcasm. So things that you see me laughing at, none of this is funny. But in order to get through it, I have to laugh. If I cry, I cry. I'm human. I'm a woman. This was traumatic. I'm going to do the best I can to upload as much of the story as I can, because I know people get so annoyed with the follow for part 4, follow me for part 17. I'm just going to do the best I can to keep uploading the videos each at a time. I'm going to go in order from the time we met until the time I got our divorce decree in the mail. So that is a lot of time to cover. Please give me the grace to just get it out. It may not be all in one day. It may not be all in 2 days. But what I can tell you is, even if you don't necessarily see a video, I'm probably recording it, and then I will upload it into the playlist titled, Who the Fuck Did I Marry? What else do I need to cover ahead of time? Because I feel like this video is important to give some sort of context, so that way when people jump into the series, they kind of can figure out, oh, let me start at the introduction video and then work my way through. A lot of the questions that you all have sent me will be answered when I start. And
Wait 1 second. I just did something that's gonna make this so much better. Hang on. Wait for it. What's up, Diamond? We're watching Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Okay. Ready for this shit, chat?
tell the story.
Captions!
Everything I'm going to tell you can be verified. There are people in my life who can easily verify, yes, this did happen. Yes, he really did do that. Yes, he said that. Yes, she did go through that. I have no contact whatsoever with my ex-husband in any way, shape, or form. We do not communicate. We do not have mutual friends or anything where we communicate through those people. No contact. I cannot stress that enough, because I feel like somebody's going to ask me, do you still talk to him? No. I ain't seen him. I ain't heard from him. I don't want to hear from him. And I will tell the entire story up until the last time I did hear from him and what happened. Yeah, this is my story. So, I am just a regular woman who thought she met the one, and I didn't. Most people have never came in contact with a pathological liar. We typically come in contact with like a compulsive liar. It is not the same. A pathological liar has no reason for why they lie. And the lies that they make up, there's no limit to the lie. I was once a psychology major in undergrad. I didn't graduate with a psychology degree, but I'm very comfortable saying
We love an educated queen.
that he was a
More educated than I am.
pathological liar. He was a narcissist. And yes, there was some in my opinion, mental health issues going on. Pathological lying part, absolutely. So I want to preface all this by saying, you're going to probably think, what in the world? There's no way this happened. Everything you're going to hear me say actually did happen. I never thought I was going to be in some sort of Lifetime movie, but I was. So, I will read the comments as best I can. Like I said, I think if you allow me to tell the whole story, things will be answered. And sorry, I do talk with my hands. It's a coping mechanism. So if you're like, why is she?
Is this what stream is gonna be? Yeah, this is what I'm gonna be doing on stream today. Because it's interesting. It's juicy. Failed out of my second semester of college. You already know that because I was in your stream when I got my final grades. Damn, that's tragic. I paused it to ask, is talking with your hands actually a coping mechanism? Because if it is, I think I cope a lot. That's actually so sad. It is. Like, what she went through, it is genuinely a coping mechanism? No way. Wait, actually? I'm sure there's other reasons people do it. Um, like I'm sure there's other reasons people talk with their hands, so I guess it's believable that it could also be a coping mechanism. But yeah, and I know it probably sounds redundant that she keeps saying like it actually happened, but I promise once we get into the story, it'll make sense why.
Moving her hands. Other than that, let's all take a deep breath, buckle in, because this was a fucking crazy ride. And if you think it's crazy, imagine how I feel as the person who lived it and had no idea what I was dealing with. I thought I knew, but I truly had no idea who the fuck I married. You like how I twisted that? Anyway. All right, y'all. This is the introduction, so welcome. Part 1 will be up shortly.
Okay, so that's the introduction. It's insane. So So obviously, like what she said, like keep in mind as we watch this chat, these are real people that really like. She's a real person that actually lived this. Her ex-husband is a real person. If talking with your hands is supposed to be a coping mechanism, then what about the deaf? I don't know. They would cope in different ways.
Please excuse the hair, but here is part 1 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So I met my ex-husband around March 4th of 2020. We met on Facebook dating site, and we also matched on Hinge. I did not realize that he was on both under 2 different names. So one was his actual name, and the other one was a variation, like a nickname that he called himself. Different pictures. So it was a running joke between us. Oh, you ain't even recognized that you had matched with me on Hinge. No, I didn't. And also that should have been a red flag. By the way, you will notice in this story, I called
Meeting somebody on Facebook dating is probably red flag number 1. You're probably right.
it the United Nations of red flags. It is so many red flags that, I mean, you would have thought I was colorblind because I ignored all of them.
One thing I want to say, I love Risa. She is so charismatic and she is so entertaining throughout this whole thing. It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
So, anyway, back to the story. We met around March 4th. We exchanged phone numbers. He called me and we talked on the phone for the first time. In the first phone call, he told me that he had just moved to Georgia from California, from San Diego. His job had transferred him because he was being transferred in as the new regional manager for a major condiment company that is based here in Georgia. I'm not going to say the name. And so we also talked about his childhood. He told me he grew up in Philly. He's from Philly. Both of his parents were deceased. This is the first.
Yeah, his story was that he worked for a major condiment company. You know, you got like Frank's, you've got Heinz, and he was going to be the regional manager because they were setting up something in Georgia. So they moved him from California to Georgia to manage whatever they were setting up. What the fuck is a condiment company? A company that makes condiments. Think of like Frank's Red Hot, Frank's Yellow Mustard, Heinz Ketchup, Heinz Barbecue Sauce, stuff like that.
First phone call. Both of his parents were deceased. His father was a Philadelphia police officer. His mom was a teacher. He also told me he briefly lived in Augusta with his family. He had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. He also had 2 half-brothers on his dad's side. First phone call. So I'm just giving you guys the backstory.
Am I crazy, or is that a lot of information to give out phone call? I guess it's not. I guess that's not a lot of information to give out phone call 1. I think it's just because there's Like, those are like basic things, right? Like, have you lived in Georgia your whole life? No, I moved here from California. Oh, why? Because I do this for work. And then talking about like family and stuff, I guess it isn't a lot. It's just it's very verbose, I guess, is the thing that's throwing me off about it.
This was the first phone call we had. So we talked about family, we talked about friends, we talked about our jobs. At the time, I was working at Georgia State Patrol. And he knew this, and he just thought that was like, wow, so you work with troopers all day. Yes, I did. Also in that phone call, he explained to me that he used to play football. He explained
The dog you're watching farts next to you. Dog farts are so rank. They're so bad. They're actually the worst. They're actually terrible.
that he used
They're
to
so
play
bad.
arena football. I know nothing about arena football.
Chat, what is arena football? Arena football. What is this? Arena football is a variety of 8-man indoor gridiron football, which is just American football. The game is played indoors on a smaller field designed to fit in the same surface area as a standard North American ice hockey rink. Okay, so it's like smaller football. I see.
Football.
I didn't know
I
that.
know about NFL. I know about college. Go Dogs. But I don't know anything
Oh.
about arena football. So he explained to me that he used to play arena football. He used to work at Apple in the off season of arena football. And I remember thinking on that phone call, oh, okay, like, good for you. I don't know anything about arena football. And I believe I did tell him that I don't know anything about arena football. That'll come into play later on. So he told me, I just moved here. My job is paying for my housing and they're helping me to look for a house. He was like, right now I'm in Gwinnett County, but I'm trying to look for a house, ideally in Atlanta, like Brookhaven, Sandy Springs. He was like, I really would like to move out there. And so I thought, that's great. You're looking to get a house. You just moved here. He was like, I don't really know too many people here because I spend all my time at work and, this job is really demanding. So that was our first phone call. We talked more. He talked a lot, which took me by surprise because I'm not really used to men talking more than me. He eventually asked me.
Let me just say, if it isn't obvious, I'm a talker. I'm a talker through and through. So it also always surprises me whenever somebody doesn't talk as much as me. It's really weird. That's a really weird feeling when you not like enjoy, but when you talk a lot and then you're with somebody that doesn't. Like, even just like having a conversation with somebody that doesn't is really weird.
Out on a date. Our first date was set for Saturday, March 7th.
You're a streamer. We already knew you're a talker. Okay, fair enough.
2020.
I can't deny that.
He asked me what was my favorite restaurant. I said Cheesecake Factory. And so we agreed to go out at the Cheesecake Factory in a location that was in between. I lived in Clayton County at the time. He lived in Gwinnett County. I realized that if you don't know anything about Metro Atlanta, that makes no sense. But basically, we lived about 45 minutes apart. So we agreed to meet at the Cheesecake Factory over at Perimeter Mall, which is in an area, Sandy Springs, Dunwoody area.
I've been to Georgia once, and it was in passing. Drove through Georgia, and I know nothing about Georgia, but I feel like by the end of this, I'll be able to map out the Metro Atlanta area. Probably not, but who knows?
I was excited. Like, I called my friends and was like, I got a date, blah, blah, blah. We'll see how it goes. First conversation was good. Hopefully he looks like his pictures, because, that's always an issue with online dating. Hopefully he looks like his pictures.
You've never been to Georgia, but you've gotten 2 states away. I've driven through a lot of states, but other than that, my travel experience is pretty minimal. I haven't vacationed in a lot of states. But that's okay.
So on my way to our date, I took 285, and literally right before I got to Boulder Crest, the exit for Boulder Crest, I heard a boom and I lost control of my car. Thank God that not thank God, but I knew what to do. So I did not crash, but my tire blew out. So I called him and I said, hey, I'm so sorry, but my tire just blew on 285. I'm slowly making my way off the exit. I believe I pulled into a Chevron gas station, and I said, I got to get this fixed. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm a damsel in distress kind of thing. He kind of paused. He got quiet, and he was like, tell me exactly where you are. Drop your pin. So I dropped the pin, and he came to the gas station. Got out the car, and I was so relieved that he actually looked like his pictures that I was like, oh my God.
What do you do in that situation? Ladies, girls, females, women, female presenting people, anyone that gets scared that they're meeting up with somebody for the first time and it might not be the right person. What do you do in that situation? If your tire goes flat and you drop your pin for somebody to come help you and you have no clue what they look like in person, what do you do if you drop your pin and they don't look the same? What's the strat there? What's the meta? Hey, my friend's calling me, then you go call 911. I feel like that's what I would do. I feel like that's the best way to go about that.
He's actually
may not be female, but I would run. Pretend they do and hope for the best. That's fair. Both of those are fair options. Option 2 seems less safe. I feel like what you do in that situation is you fake a phone call, say, hey, this is my mom. I have to take this. And then you just I don't know, maybe not call the police. That might be extreme. Call a tow truck company. I feel like you could just call a tow company. Like, hey, my tire broke down. What up with that? And then I simply would not have sent them a pin. That's actually fair. Yeah, not sending the pin is probably the safest bet. But if you were to end up in that situation because you're just like a trusting human being, then like that, yeah, sending the pin is definitely the riskiest thing to do there.
Attractive because he's like 6'4", 6'5".
I'm like 6'4", 6'5", for the record. I didn't say that for no reason. I'm definitely like 6'4" or 6'5" ish, 100%.
Oh, also, man,
You're like 5'7". I'm not. I'm like 6'4", 6'5". I don't know how to prove this to you because that's a blank wall. There's nothing there to scale. But I promise you, on my driver's license, it says 6'3", I think. I think that's what it says on my driver's license.
I apologize. So let me go back to the first conversation. Let me add something. He did tell me in the first phone call that he was divorced.
I'm not going to show my license. You can write whatever you want on your driver's license. They don't verify it. That part doesn't matter. Don't focus on that as much as focus on what is actually on the driver's license. And you said you were taller on yours. Why would you do that? That is wrong. Morally. Why would you lie to the DMV? My driver's license says I'm 6'3", so I'm 6'3". Legally, I'm 6'3".
And that his ex-wife, she had 2 children, a boy and a girl who were teenagers, young adults. I think the girl was about 20. And he said that he had a very close relationship with his stepkids. But that he and his ex-wife had divorced because she cheated on him out in California. And so coming to Georgia was a new beginning for him. she was still out in California. The kids were still out in California. And so, you know, he was like, there's no, I can't stand her, but I still want to be in the kids' lives. I have to put that in there because that will come back later. So this is just setting this.
Make sure you're taking notes, chat. There will be a quiz. At the end of part 52, there will be a quiz. So I do expect you guys to be taking notes.
Stage again, that first conversation was, we talked about family, job, friends, how he ended up in Georgia, me being in Georgia, the things that, you know, I would think people talk about in the first conversation. All right, now back to the tire blew out. So he shows up to the gas station. He changes my tire, which I just thought was the sexiest thing in the world. And then he proceeds to say, hey, I found a tire place around the corner. You need to get another tire. Like, you can't drive on this donut. So
You definitely can. I almost did. My tire went flat when I first got my new car. And I definitely drove on that thing. Definitely drove on the donut for a little while. It kind of have to.
he followed me to the tire place, and then helped me get a tire, paid for it. So I was definitely like, wow. And so the vibe was good. So anyway, I get the tire fixed. We follow each other to the Cheesecake Factory over in Perimeter. We hold hands walking into the Cheesecake Factory. So in my mind, I'm like, this is just this. Oh my God, I had butterflies. That's the look of a woman who had butterflies. So I had butterflies. And we go in, there's a long wait. And so we sit outside and we just talk. And the conversation's great. And this is where he tells me what it is he's looking for. He tells me, you know, I believe at the time he was 42. He was like, I want to get married and it be for real. He's like, my parents were married 40 plus years before my mom passed away. And I want that. I want marriage, family, a house. Like, that is what I want. He's like, I'm as a man, I'm ready to get married, but I want it to be for real, because the first time, you know, it really hurt me when she cheated on me. So he's telling me everything that I wanted to hear. And so he was like, what is it that you want?
I do want to say it's very respectable, I feel like, to just be that open about it. Am I crazy? That seems like crazy first date conversation. But again, maybe not. I don't know. Shit, what do I know?
And I said pretty much the same thing. I was like, I'm ready to get married. Definitely want to have a family. And I want to marry my best friend. So we both put on.
It depends on the people. Yeah, that's fair. I think it's fair on date one to lay out what your expectations are. I think that has the potential to get rid of a lot of miscommunication. I don't know. It would just seem, it would be so crazy, like in my head, to be on a first date with someone and be like, look, I want you to carry my child is so crazy. It's just so crazy to me. But shit, man, if that's you, but I think there's also benefit to that, right? Like I said, I think, like, because let's say she said, like, I want to settle down, marry my best friend, like, have someone for the rest of my life. And he was like, shit, I'm just trying to fuck around and find out. Then I think, like, from date one, you can be like, okay, this is clearly, like, not going to work. Let's just vibe it out, you know? And then you can, like, Revels is just sad that nobody ever asked him to carry their child. Yeah, I am very deeply saddened by the fact that nobody looked at me and said, I want to impregnate you. You're right. That does make me sad. That's all I want, man.
On the table that we wanted marriage. And this is the end of part 1.
All right, so end of part 1. We meet the ex-husband. He used to be he is a regional manager for a condiment company. He lives in Georgia because the company moved him out there from California. He's house shopping. They both want marriage. They both want a family. He seems like a pretty pog dude because, like, he fixed her tire and took her to the tire shop and all the good stuff, right? Everything that you want to see from a guy, he pretty much does. And she says that. So that's kind of the end of part 1, right? That's the end of episode 1 of our saga here.
All right, who the fuck did I marry? Part 2. So we both put on the table what it is that we wanted. We both had established we were dating for marriage. We were not dating just to date. We were not trying to be friends with benefits and none of that. So the dinner at Cheesecake Factory went really well. We laughed, we joked, we talked about people, which is kind of up my alley, my sense of humor. It was a good vibe. So at the end of the date, at the end of dinner, we sat in his car and he played this song for me by John Legend. I don't know the name of the song. By the time this video posts, I will put the name at the bottom. I can't remember the song. I just remember that John Legend was talking about, I think I met my wife tonight. And I thought it was a sign. So I was like, oh my God. So anyway, we ended up sitting in the car talking just about life and experiences until about midnight. So during this conversation, he again is telling me how it was, what it was like living in California, how he went out there, he went to San Diego State, he played football for San Diego State. He talked about how, life, he loved it out there, so he stayed. That's when he joined the company. And then he explained that he also did arena football, but only did it for about 2 or 3 years. He claims that while he was doing arena football, the team that he was on won a championship. But again, keep in mind, I don't know anything about arena football. So I was like, okay, I didn't know that they had championships. And he was like, he got a little offended, like, yeah, they got championships. And, he was on that team. So
I'm going to fact check him. Arena football. Leagues. How many leagues? Oh no. Arena football championship. Winners. The Arena Bowl? The Arena Bowl history. Albany Empire, Washington Valor, Philadelphia. You said San Diego, right? There's San Jose, but I don't think. What's this team? The Jacksonville Sharks, Tampa Bay Storm. That's Philly again. That's San Jose again. There's Chicago. We're like getting further. Colorado. When is this? Oh, I'm back in 2001. Something tells me he was maybe capping. Something tells me he was probably capping about his San Diego team winning the championships. Oh, wait, that's Tampa Bay. Yeah, I'm all the way back in 93. Something tells me maybe he was wrong.
he talked to me about how he worked at Apple. He worked something in the IT area of Apple. but it within the store. Again, it was one of those. It's like when I tell people I used to work at Amazon. I really wasn't paying much attention to it. Why? So we talked about all that. We talked deep.
The clip I made had bad cropping. Dang, that sucks. How did you clip something with bad cropping? Oh, you mean like on the timeline? You can adjust it on Twitch.
Into what happened with the ex-wife. It's because I asked. He was not volunteering all this information. So in other words, I get very uncomfortable when men start talking about their ex a lot. That's not what happened. I was asking questions because I was really trying to figure out, okay, are you ready for a relationship, or are you still missing her? So we talked about that. We talked about my exes. That was a mistake I made because I talked about how I dated at one point in time somebody I worked with. That will come back later. And he seemed real cool about it. He was like, that was before me and blah, blah, blah. So the conversation was good. Midnight comes and I go home. Yes, I went home. We ended up talking. Mind you, our first date was March 7th. And within about 2.5 weeks, Brian Kemp, our governor, shut Georgia down. We were going to be
Jossum's here. What's up, Jossum?
on lockdown. So during those 2.5 weeks, we talked every day. We went out again at Red Lobster. I remember Red Lobster. But everything was going great. The issue was, where are we going to quarantine? So the question was, are we going to quarantine at his place, which he had like a studio type of situation? Like,
Am I crazy, or are studio apartments a scam? Like, do studio apartments not seem like such a scam? They're so expensive. Like, for what reason are they so expensive? Everything is crammed into one room. And they're typically more expensive than like a one room. So just give yourself a bedroom and save money.
it clearly, where he was staying, I was like,
What is this stream? Sobbing. We're watching Who the Fuck Did I Marry on TikTok. Because it's very intriguing.
it's like a studio apartment, but he kept telling me like this is temporary because I'm looking for a house. Like, he showed me the email from a woman who worked at the company where she was out on maternity leave, but she was putting him in contact with a realtor to help him find a townhome or a single family house. So I was just like, okay, this is definitely temporary. Like, he's not trying to.
Why is she filming while she's driving? She's very clearly in stop and go traffic, and she's watching the road more than she's looking at the camera.
Stay here long term. And she was apologizing in the email. I'm so sorry, this should have been taken care of before you got here, but it wasn't. Da, 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 da. I saw the email. I read it. I read the email.
There is also a thing at the bottom telling people not to do this. That is true. Oh, it's like cropped perfectly. That's awesome.
So the decision was, we're going to quarantine at the studio, or we're going to quarantine in my house? First mistake I made. Well, there's a lot, but this was a mistake I made. So ladies, caution moment. During one of our dates, because keep in mind, in those 2 weeks, we were seeing each other quite a bit. Nothing physical or anything like that. Just
let's get physical.
Two people who were.
I don't know why. What's that song? What is that song? Chad, I need someone to tell me. Get physical. Yeah, from Olivia Newton-John. Oh, Dua Lipa has a song too? What?
who I thought were really on some, all right, let's see if this is going to grow into something. He came to my house. When he came to my house, I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome. He was in a studio. Now, I'm telling you guys all of this in...
Yes, Dua Lipa has a song. How did you know? I don't know. I guess it was just a good guess. I guess I took a shot in the dark that maybe recording artist Dua Lipa has released a song or two in her career. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Thank you for coming to this educational stream. I'm glad we could do this.
In order of how it happened. So some things I'm probably going to insert what I was thinking and the mistake I made. Can I turn this off? No. Okay, I still need that. And I say that to say that I did not realize inviting him to my home.
Did anybody else's parents tell them that having those lights on in the car was illegal? I feel like that's a shared experience. Is at some point when you're a kid, you turn that light on while your parents are driving, and they tell you that that is against the law. Yes, dude, it's so insane.
Probably made his eyes go, oh shit, she's a keeper. She got this 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse, and I'm in like a little studio. Yeah, let me go ahead and pursue this. What I need to do to quarantine here. The decision was made, quarantine at my house. So the state went on lockdown. He came and stayed with me in my home, and for the most part, in the initial beginning, it was fine. It was fine. The reason why I hesitate is because I grew up in the church. So for me...
In the church. She slept on the benches. I'm kidding. She just grew up religious.
It was really like an internal struggle of, bruh, you always said you would never live with a guy unless he was your husband. And now you living with a dude and he ain't your husband. Like, it was a struggle for me because I knew better. And don't come for me. I'm just telling you the way I grew up. It was like that. It was not sitting right with me. But at the same time, I didn't want to quarantine by myself. I did not want to. So there we go. So he moved in. We talked about the bills. Let me clear something up that I said in the other video where I said he paid all the bills. He paid all the household bills. He did not pay my car payment, my cell phone, or my car.
Did she marry a woman? What?
Car insurance. He paid the rent because my rent at the time was less than $1,000.
That would be so nice. It's so hard to imagine a world where you could have a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome and you're renting it for less than $1,000 in Georgia. Like Metro Atlanta, 3-bed, 2.5 bath, less than $1,000. That's so dude, that'd be so amazing.
He paid the utility bills, and so when he's telling me that he's a regional manager, I was like, wow, okay, so you got money. And so he paid all the household bills. So my check really was just taking care of me, myself, and I. And I am not, this is where it's not gonna make me look good, but it's the truth. It was intoxicating to not have to worry financially about how to pay the bills. It was a wonderful feeling. And so I kind of pushed to the side the fact that, yeah, you shacking up, because it's like, but your page, you don't have to worry right now. Like, he's taking care of all of April's bills before April even comes, because this was still March. So we're living together, and I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, he's helping to cook and clean, and then we have a conversation about house. Is he still going to buy a house just for him? Or
This is all really quick, no? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Like, that seems like a really fast turnaround. Like, beginning of March, you meet, and then by the end of March, you're like, hey, are we buying a house together? Like, that. Am I out of touch, or does that seem so crazy?
is he going to buy a house where...
Because the rule of thumb is 3 months, right? I would never, dude, I don't think I would either. Like, the rule of thumb is like 3 months. Wait for the religious childhood from her and manipulative behavior from him equals things move very fast. That's fair. That's fair. It just like, because like I know the general rule of thumb is like 3 months. Like, wait for the honeymoon period to be over and then have conversations like that. It's actually one of the two most common times a relationship ends. 3 months and 2 years.
It's for us. Because we are going to try to make this thing work, be official, get married, have a family. So the question now on the table is, what are we going to do? Because I didn't want to stay in Riverdale, Georgia. I did not want to raise a family there.
That's where Archie's from.
I refused to have a baby in Clayton County. So the decision was made, let's start looking for a house for both of us. Remember, he was already looking for a house for him. But then he was like, you know what? We're together. I plan to marry you. Let's look for a family home for the two of us. He was like, this is how much I was approved for. That's when he showed me the Chase paperwork. It was a letter stating that and it had the Chase emblem at the top. He showed me a letter stating that he was approved for $700. All right, part 3.
That threw me off. That threw me off so quickly. Okay, so that's the end of part 2. Chat, let's do our check-in. How you guys feeling? How's it going? Do the end of part chat check-in. So to review, they are now in quarantine. Presumably they've gotten into April now. So they've been they've known each other for around a month, because she said they started like communicating at March. They've known each other around a month. He's paying all the bills, all of like the household bills. She's still covering her stuff. We love an independent queen. So we love an independent queen. She's paying her car payment. She's paying her phone bill, but he's paying for the utilities. He's paying for rent. Things are going well. They're going to buy a house together. Things are going pretty well so far.
Who the fuck did I marry? So this is when he showed me a letter from Chase with the Chase logo at the top, stating that he had been approved for a mortgage for a $750,000 mortgage, or a $750,000 house. So he was like, we can't go over $750,000. And I said, I remember asking him, can you afford the mortgage on a $750,000 house? Because I know I can't. This is when he explains to me, I told you how I played arena football. I invested my money really well. So he said, I have money that will help pay for the mortgage. He was like, we're good. Like, I'm financially, I am okay. He was like, that's why I'm able to get approved for a $750,000 mortgage. So he told me that his money was in different savings accounts. He said he had an account with Chase Bank, he had an account with US Bank, and he had an offshore account. This is what he told me. The offshore account, I was like, why? And he explained something about
the Panama Papers. He was in them. I don't know.
Oh, the U.S. the U.S. imposes taxes on money when you have a certain amount in U.S. banks. He was like, so everybody knows that it's smart to have some money in an offshore account.
I feel like saying everybody knows that is crazy. I feel like saying everybody knows that is like, come on, dude, that's such like a finance bro thing to say. Dude, you didn't know that like if you have so much money in like across all your US bank accounts that like the government starts fucking taxing you, dude? Like you didn't fucking know that, dude? Like that's why you gotta have a bank account in Panama, you gotta have a bank account in the UK, you gotta have one in Japan. That way your money's safe. Normal people don't do that. Normal people don't know that. Right? Am I making a broad assumption here? I feel like normal people don't do or know that information. Because most people don't have obscene amounts of wealth. Slightly illegal life hack. This is going to sound stupid. Is it illegal to keep money in an offshore bank account? Is it illegal to have offshore bank account? No, opening an offshore bank account isn't illegal. It's just a lot of times they're used for laundering, but it's completely legal to do that.
Y'all.
It's just, I think most people that do it are doing it for nefarious reasons. Okay, my bad. No, it's fair. I mean, even when I Googled it, it said that it gets a bad rap because most people that do it for nefarious reasons. But it's like, there's nothing wrong with doing it. It's just that people do it for illegal reasons. That kind of thing.
Look, I live paycheck to paycheck. I was like, okay, that's whatever. I said, so you have the money to pay for a home. I'm also holding in my hand a letter from.
I also like to think like when he says he has money in an offshore bank account, I like to think that it's, for some reason in my head, it's like a super minimal, like a super menial amount of money. Like he has an offshore bank account, but there's like $5 in it.
Chase saying that he was approved for $750,000. So I went off of what I saw. So we contacted a realtor. I won't say his name, but man, if he ever sees this TikTok, I owe this man such an apology. But we contacted a realtor who is based in Cobb County because I was very adamant I wanted to move back to Marietta, Smyrna area in Cobb County, Georgia. He was fine with that. His whole attitude was, you know, you're going to be my wife, happy life.
So true.
We met a realtor. I would find houses that I wanted to tour. Keep in mind that this was COVID. So at the time, we could not tour a home. It would have to be a virtual tour. So this particular realtor, we found a house in Douglasville, Georgia. Not Cobb County, but nevertheless, it's in Douglasville. I was fine with Douglasville. So we found a house in Douglasville, Georgia. The realtor did a FaceTime tour of the house.
It seems like such an uncomfortable thing to do. To have to do like a house tour over FaceTime.
The house was
Because let me tell you, doing house tours in person is kind of uncomfortable on its own. It's kind of an uncomfortable thing to do. Because you're walking into a house you don't know. And it's like realtors, the way that they function is like you have to know what questions to ask and know what to look for because they won't tell you. So like a lot of times you have to like twist knobs, like faucet knobs and shit. It'd be weird to have to ask somebody to do that for you.
It was a nice home. 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. So we did a FaceTime tour of the home, and the home was listed, I believe, roughly 400 and something thousand. I really liked the house. I could see myself living there. I could see us living there. Could see us with the kid there. This is now April, just for timeline purposes. This is April. So he really liked the house. He was like, you know what, we'll put an offer in on the house. He was like, if you like it, because again, it was COVID, we weren't going to be able to see the house in person because the family still lived there. So he said,
did the realtor do the FaceTime call with the family in the home? How did that work?
I'll put an offer in. We'll see.
Did she not have any family members that said this was a little fast? I think she might have been a little, if she did, she was probably like very standoffish about it, growing up in a religious household, I would imagine. Right? Like, she said she grew up in the church, but she does not actively practice, which makes me think that at some point she left the church. And typically, like adults that are in the church won't leave the church. That doesn't usually happen. Usually if somebody leaves the church, it is around like high school, middle school time, like around puberty kind of, because that's when you start to question like the world around you and you ask questions about religion because it's such a prevalent part of your life. So she probably did have people, they were probably just in the church, and I would assume, my assumption is that somebody probably told her that it was moving a little fast. And she said, and she was like, cool, thanks, but didn't believe them because they were part of the church. That would be my assumption. Because like, if I was in her perspective, if I was living her life, that's what I would think.
This accepted.
Who knows? She might get into it.
I said, okay. So he puts an offer in. He's telling me he put an offer in. I need to clarify some things he told me and the things that I actually saw. So for this house in Douglasville, he told me he was putting an offer in. The realtor would call me because one thing that the realtor told us, he was like, if the woman likes the house, typically the house is going to get bought. So he kind of dealt with me a bit more than he did my ex-husband. And again, this is April 2020. This is before we got married. So at the time, he was my boyfriend. So the realtor was calling me and it was like, hey, you know, I put the offer in, and what they're asking for is proof of funds. And I didn't know anything.
Oh.
I did not know anything at this time about buying a house. So I was like, hey, you probably need to talk to him because I'm not even listed on the mortgage. Like, from the paperwork I saw, it was only in his name. So he called him. I guess they talked. I was not there, but I'm assuming that they had talked. So the boyfriend is coming, my ex is coming home saying, yeah, I talked to so-and-so. I sent him over the paperwork. The offer was approved, and they are going to try to do a virtual closing. First, we got to do an inspection. If the inspection goes all well, then we have to do a virtual closing. He also told me that he put down earnest money on the home. He put down, I believe, $5,000. He said, I just transferred the money over to the realtor's account or whatever, so that it could be earnest money for the house. So I'm just like, okay, great. He was like, so realistically, this is April. We should be able to get in that house by June.
I'm so confused. She said the family that is selling the home is still living there. Where does that family go? They had to have had a second home, right? And they're like, fuck it, we'll just sell the Georgia house. We'll move here. That has to be how that works.
Okay, no problem. So this is what he told me. About 3 or 4 days later, I get a phone call from the realtor. And the realtor is like, hey, I'm just checking to see what you guys want to do about that house. So I was confused. I'm at work. And I said, oh, I was told that he put an offer in. And the realtor was like, he did? I didn't know that he put an offer in. And I said,
Right there, I feel like at that moment, that precise point in time, you tell the realtor, no thank you, we no longer want the house, and then you tell the guy, get the fuck out of my house.
well, why wouldn't you know? Like, he told me he put the offer in, and he had paid earnest money, $5,000 earnest money.
What is earnest money? What is earnest money? What is earnest money in real estate? Wow, I wonder why that came up so quick. Earnest money or a good faith deposit is some money you put down to demonstrate your seriousness. Okay. The more you know. Chad, I feel like not only are we learning about Risa's life, we're also learning about being an adult.
And so the
And there's something beautiful about that.
realtor was like, well, let me call him and find out what's going on with that, because I didn't know anything about it. So red flag, of course. So I call him, and he in true narcissistic nature, he flips the script and he like goes off. He's like cussing, going off, like he shouldn't, excuse me, I have the hiccups. He shouldn't be calling you. If he has a question, he should call me because I'm the one that's on a mortgage. He was like, and now it's going to be an issue. And I said, well, did you put the offer in with him or not? And he said, no, I did not put the offer in with him. I put the offer in with a friend of mine who is a realtor, so I can give him the business.
That's such a scummy thing to do. That's such a scummy thing to do. Like, in general, like, to have a realtor go jump through hoops for you, like, to do the FaceTime interview, to walk you through the inspection, to walk you through the process, and then to put the offer in with a different realtor is just a shitty thing to do. It's such a shitty thing to do.
So I did not hear from that realtor again. So I was just like, is the house under contract or is it not? He was like, yes, the house is under contract. This is how crazy things work out. About 3 days later, on realtor.com, I'm looking at the house because I was trying to figure out in my mind how I'm gonna decorate. It shows the house is under contract. So
I'm going to guess somebody else bought the home. That's my guess. That's my prediction. Lock it in.
showed my boyfriend. My boyfriend's like, I told you it was under contract. He was like, I like, did you not believe me? And
I'm going to guess he bought the house and isn't going to share. He paid for the house cash and is not sharing.
I had a heart to say, hell no, I didn't believe you. Like, it seemed too good to be true. But once I saw the house was under contract, I absolutely believe that, okay, it's under contract with him. Like, yeah, we're about to do inspection. We are about to move.
Please don't tell me she buys boxes. I feel like if she buys boxes and she starts packing, that's so much worse. Oh, this is going to get so bad if she buys boxes.
And so we had driven by the house because, again, keep in mind, a family's still living there. So we had driven by the house. At this point, he was like, I want us to start looking for furniture so that way we can go ahead and order it. So when it's time to move, the furniture is ready, because, you know, it takes like 6 to 8 weeks sometimes for furniture to be delivered if they don't have it in stock. Like, he was very methodical and planning and saying, this is what we need to do. So we started going to Home Depot, Lowe's, because we had a printout of what the sellers were going to take. They were going to take the appliances.
Were they allowed in Home Depot at this point? Because I remember during lockdown not being allowed inside of Home Depot. And you had to do everything with the app.
He had a printout. Let me be clear. He had a printout. So it said on there that they were going to
Also, if just he has a printout and he does not share that with you, that's not good.
take the appliances. So we needed to get a new stove, new refrigerator, new microwave, all that stuff. So we went to Home Depot and Lowe's, and I went ham. I chose all these new appliances, and here's where we get into the shopping.
Okay. That's the end of part 3. So they've bought a house together. Okay, so at the end of part 3, they have purchased a home together. I'm already starting to not like the husband purely because he went behind the realtor's back. As of now, if you remove the name of the series from it and you take it at face value, the husband still seems like a pretty decent guy. Other than the fact that he went behind one realtor's back and put in the offer with another realtor that is a friend of his, he hasn't done anything crazy. So they're buying a house. It's a really nice house. She really likes it. They're buying furniture. Now they're going shopping.
All right, part 4. So we go to Home Depot, we go to Lowe's. I'm choosing all these appliances. He's taking
I feel like it got louder. Am I crazy? Did it get louder?
pictures of the SKU number. We had representatives helping us, and he basically explained to them, hey, we're buying a house. We should be closing sometime in June. Can we order this stuff now?
It is louder. Is the volume fine now, or is it better? Or is it the same?
Can I put a hold on it? Like, what can we do? Because we're not ready for delivery. I stood there.
Yes, it's good. Or yes, it's the same and I should turn it down.
As the Home Depot rep said, we can hold it in our warehouse. Like, you can buy something and we can hold it. People do it all the time, especially with COVID. So I watched him pay. I want to say it was about it was either $350 or $500. I watched him pay a deposit on a whole new set of appliances for them, and they were going to hold it until we were ready for delivery. I watched this. So I was like, okay, good deal. Like, we got the appliances. Next, let's go to Rooms to Go and Ashley Furniture and find
The amount of potholes she's hitting, I just want to say, I fucking feel that. I have a 5-minute drive to work riddled with potholes. I take a roller coaster to work every day.
Actual furniture. So we went all around Rooms to Go. We went to Ashley Furniture. We went to American Signature. And I saw all these things that I wanted. Again, he's taking pictures of it. He was like, I can go online and order it. I didn't think anything of it because, again, I just saw that we held the appliances. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So April turns into May. May 2020 comes. This is where things start to get a little interesting.
Start? This is where things start to get interesting?
May comes, and obviously we had not done inspection. And I'm asking him all the time, what's the deal with the house? He was like, oh, because of COVID, they're trying to get someone to do the inspection. But the guy that they had, it was always something. The guy they had caught COVID, so they're going to have to get somebody else. And he's like 15 houses backed up, so it'll be a while. So at this point,
Were that many people buying homes in the middle of COVID? Do I know nothing about what happened during COVID? Do I have a completely different perspective of 2020 than like the general population? Were people just fucking buying houses all the time? What the fuck? What?
in May, I know I look crazy. In this point in
I was actually saying, I really like her hair. Like, I really like what she did with her hair. I'm assuming it's to like make it like curly or wavy. It's really cool. I like it. And her necklace too. Her necklace is really cool.
May of 2020.
Her necklace reminds me of Moon Knight.
I started recording audio diaries. I don't know why.
She knew that something was going down.
It was something just made me just start recording my thoughts in an audio diary, and I still have them. And I would save them by the date, and I would just start talking about what's on my mind. So I was like, I knew there was something was nagging me, like, but I kept pushing it out of my mind. I was like, you saw, this is what I reminded myself. You saw.
There were probably more house buyings than you think during COVID because of all the evictions due to businesses shutting down. No, but didn't the government say like during COVID you were not allowed to evict people? Like there is the moratorium on evictions. Like the government stepped in and said during the pandemic, because these are extenuating circumstances, you are not allowed to evict tenants.
Him pay for the appliances. You know the house is under contract. You know that he told you that he's the one who put the house under contract. Why would, like, I remember saying to myself, why would he lie about that? This is so easy to verify. Why would he lie about that? Have you caught him in any other lie? And at the time, the answer was no.
I feel like the at the time is the most important thing there. The government never does what they say. Were people still being evicted during COVID? Were people really still getting evicted during COVID? Do I not know this? What the hell?
So I really was like, maybe you just aren't used to a guy who actually does what he's supposed to do. Like I was questioning myself and then answering my own questions. So inspection didn't happen. Around mid.
I also want to say, as somebody that very recently, not like the home buying process, but like as someone that very recently went through the process of like looking for a home to stay, it's very hard. Like typically you have like your gut feeling about something, and then you have like, I guess, self-doubt, right? Or like there's a different thing that happens, right? That like you have a gut feeling, and then you have like the logical part of your brain, I guess. And those, like when it comes to like, hey, this shouldn't be happening type of stuff, I think when you're looking for somewhere to stay, those lines blur and they start to mesh very quickly, and they mesh very intently with each other. Because I remember thinking when we were looking for a place to stay, like I was mixing my gut feeling in with like my logic a lot, where you're like she said, like she had the gut feeling that something was wrong, and then she had to like logic herself out of it. And I feel like that happens a lot when you're looking for a home.
Mid-May, I found out I was pregnant.
What? Wait. I was yapping. What did she say?
May 2020. When I found out I was pregnant,
what?
Put the house under contract. Why would, like, I remember saying to myself, why would he lie about that? This is so easy to verify. Why would he lie about that? Have you caught him in any other lie? And at the time, the answer was no. So I really was like, maybe you just aren't used to a guy who actually does what he's supposed to do. Like I was questioning myself and then answering my own questions. So inspection didn't happen. Around mid-May, I found out I was pregnant. May 2020.
The plot thickens. Holy shit. Okay. So now there's a baby involved. Baby complicate things. Baby complicated. Oh no. Baby's so complicated. Oh no. Baby is so complex. Okay. Yeah, okay.
When I found out I was pregnant, he was ecstatic and I was like, oh shit. The reason why I was oh shit is because number one, I'm plus size. Number two, because of my age, I felt like it was probably going to be a high risk pregnancy. And I wasn't married. And that nagged. I cannot tell y'all how much it nagged me. There was a lot of internal struggle in between. My family didn't even know that he had moved in.
Okay, there we go. There's the answer. Family did not know he moved in. Family probably also did not know about home.
At this point, I told them, that I was pregnant. Went to the doctor. Everything looked good. But again, because it was COVID, he couldn't go in with me into the actual room. So, doing any sort of ultrasound, doing the blood test, because my HCG levels were really high. So the doctor was like, hey, it might be twins. We don't know yet. You're still kind of early, along. They gave me a due date. The due date was January 26th of 2021. So...
Do they know due dates that quickly? Is there like a formula you just plug in? Are due dates plug and play? Like what the fuck? I usually thought I thought you had to wait until longer into the pregnancy. They know due dates that quick?
Yeah. May, found out I was pregnant. So there was now more of a push into, we got to get a house. We got to get the fuck up out of here. I'm not having a baby in Riverdale. Okay? Nothing against Riverdale. But I ain't having a baby.
Chat, Pep OG, don't have a baby in Riverdale.
So we need to find out what's going on with this house. And so he was on top of it. He had an answer for everything. He was like, I'm gonna call and find out what's going on, blah blah blah.
It's usually like 280 days, so they just say that it's 280 days after assumed conception. My dad was 1 month late to the day. I see. How do doctor calculate due date? Does a doctor calculate? How does a doctor calculate estate taxes? I feel like that's not the question. By measuring baby size, doctor can work out how far along your pregnancy is. Your due date is 40 weeks after the day you started your last period. I see. So it's just 40 weeks after the day you started your last period. They go, that is the day. Okay.
He then magically told me about a week later, oh, they're going to do inspection on the house like in 2 days.
That seems too convenient. Like, okay. I feel like anybody that just has all the answers always, naturally you should be suspicious of. And also, like, that quickly inspection after no inspection for almost 2 months? Husband, what are we doing?
So I was just like, okay, keep in mind, I'm taking his word for it. I'm taking his word for all this. So he's like, they're going to do an inspection. Once we get the inspection report back, then we will know what we are going to be responsible for. What are we getting ourselves into? So, I guess they did an inspection. He showed me an inspection report. Only thing that they said that the roof had just recently been replaced, which I remember he was very happy about.
Yeah, roofs are expensive.
And the issues that there were for the house were minor. It was not a bad, because we did have a discussion about it. He was like, it's nothing that we can't handle. Then he said that we were set to close the end of May. We were set to close the end of May. He told me,
God, I hate this. Wait, I actually hate this. Like, I hate this. So I can just tell, like, can you guys feel the tension now? There's tension now. I can tell she's getting emotional.
it was going to be a virtual closing. You're probably like, what the hell is a virtual closing? Because again, he's saying because of COVID, people are not closing in the office. They're doing a virtual closing where you would need to electronically sign the paperwork. This is what he's telling me. And so he was like, we're set to close like just before Memorial Day.
Okay, so that's not too far.
And so
That's not too far from where she's at.
For some reason, again, there's still that nagging part. For some reason, I didn't start packing. Anyone that knows me will tell you I hate moving. I've done it enough in my life. I hate moving. But I did not.
I love moving. I'm gonna be honest. Packing boxes? Here's the thing. I like Tetris. When you're packing your boxes, you're playing tiny games of Tetris. And then you take those tiny games of Tetris and play a bigger game of Tetris. It's great.
Start packing up that house at all. I was just like, I'm pregnant. My body was changing so fast that it was like I can barely keep my eyes open half the day. And so, no, I didn't start packing. And I remember I did record, again, I was recording audio diaries just about every day. When something didn't sit right, I would verbally record it in the audio diary because I was like, I don't know what it is, but there's something. That was the theme of our relationship. I don't know what it is, but I know there's something. And so I remember talking to myself in my little prayer closet, because that's where I would do my recordings. And I remember thinking,
So does she still practice?
what if we don't get this house? Like, what if he's lying? But again, there goes that thought
Did she bank it?
process of, why would he lie about this? Like, who makes up that they're buying a house when in fact they're not? And then he's showing you all this paperwork. Like, come on, you can't be that
Maybe she doesn't practice religiously, but she still is religious. That makes sense. That makes sense, chat. So true.
that you don't even believe what's in front of you. All right? So now we're going to go into part 5.
Okay, before we go into part 5, chat, I have to pee. I drank my whole water, so I have to pee real quick. I'll be right back. All right, Chad, I'm back. Oh, there's an ad going. I'll wait for the ad to be done. Oh, I do still have water. I didn't drink all my water. So huge for me. All right, I have to update this. We're heading into part 6 because we had the intro. Wait for this ad to be done. I'm not gonna lie, Chad, this has been juicy so far. I've so far thoroughly enjoyed this. Thoroughly have enjoyed this so far. I think Risa is just an angel. Like, I know she said she's going to tell the whole truth, no matter if it makes her look bad. One, that's based. And also, I think she is just an angel for putting up with all this. We love Risa in this chat. I have decided this is a we are a Risa lover chat. All right. Let's get into part 5.
Okay,
She's also a great storyteller. I just want to say, chat, if I could write YouTube video scripts the way Risa tells stories, that would be amazing. I would love that.
5. Who the fuck did I marry? So, I'm questioning all this stuff in my head out loud on my audio diaries. And then once again, I'm like, but look at what he's giving you. Like, he's paying, it wasn't a question about money. It was just a question of, are we really about to move into this house? And keep in mind, he's paying all the household bills. He still is. So, we were supposed to close before Memorial Day. We didn't. There was an excuse. There was always an excuse with him. Always an excuse. And I didn't know enough about the process to question stuff because I really wasn't involved the way I should have been. And it was giving me a lot of anxiety. So I'm pregnant with a lot of anxiety.
Oh no.
And if I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all, I was not expecting that I was probably going to have a healthy pregnancy because I was stressed. And what I was stressed about is I didn't know what was going on because I wasn't really involved the way that a normal relationship would be involved. Just being honest. So we did not close. We move now into June. This is now going into June. Around
March, April, May, June. 4 months they've known each other. So at this point, see, Chad, this is what I was talking about. At this point, the honeymoon period is over. And now she's starting to question everything.
June 5th, I looked at the house again on Realtor.com.
It's not under contract anymore. I'm going to guess now it's either sold or not under contract anymore.
I don't know what made me do it other than, and I don't mean to sound super spiritual. I know that people are like, you know, you may or may not believe in God, but I'm telling you, I believe with all my heart, probably the Holy Spirit was like, look at that house on Realtor.com. So
The Holy Spirit kind of came in clutch. I'll say it. Holy Spirit kind of goaded for that one.
I looked at the house on Realtor.com. This was around June 5th. It showed that the house was off the market.
I knew it.
And I remember being like, okay, wait, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because ex-husband is telling me we're about to close on the house. We're about to close. It's our house. We got furniture, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. He's also telling me that he's been in contact with the realtor, his friend, who was telling him, you know, this is what was happening next. Here's what's going on. So the guy that we initially worked with apparently is completely out of the picture. But again, I was not heavily involved. So I'm just like, let me look at the house. I see it's off market. What the fuck does off market mean?
What exactly is the benefit of lying about this? Well, I don't think there is one, right? That's what she was saying in the intro, was she thinks he's a pathological liar. So she thinks he was just lying for the sake of lying. Because I'm pretty sure pathological liars, don't take me at my word on this. Pretty sure pathological liars like can't help themselves. They don't always like, there's not always like an end goal. It's just kind of how they are. Let me see if I can fact check this. How do pathological liars work? Yeah, pathological liar is unable to control their lying due to an underlying mental health disorder. And that's from the Newport Institute. Like the cigarettes? What? See, I think that's what it is. Is like there isn't always an end goal. Like there might be for like a traditional lie. I think it's more of like it's not compulsive, because compulsive lying is a thing, but I think it's like they lie a lot and they can't really control that. What is pathological lying versus compulsive lying? People who compulsively lie do it out of fear or anxiety, while pathological liars might do it to manipulate or to deceive. Pathological lying is uncontrollable and elaborate. Compulsive is frequent and unexplained.
Like now I'm really freaking out. So it shows the name of the real estate agent for the seller.
It was the first real estate agent she went through. I'm going to put my cards down right now.
I don't remember her name.
Never mind.
I called her and I said, you know, I said my husband and I, even though I wasn't married, my husband and I were looking at this house at 123 Main Street, and we really wanted to tour it, but now I'm showing it's off market. Is it not available? Or, you know, I pulled that card and she was like, oh, no, ma'am. The home closed yesterday.
I'm not very good at betting. Yeah. True.
It closed June 4th. Again, there are certain dates.
Okay, what is this? What are we looking at? Okay, this is Zillow. Okay, this is the Zillow report. June 4th, it sold at $339,000. Oh, but it listed for sale June 25th. Are we going to get to that point of the plot? Surely we get to the June 25th when it's relisted for sale. Wait, that says listing removed on June 25th. Never mind.
I just remember. And I said, oh, it closed June 4th? I was like, really? And she said, yes, ma'am. She was like, my sellers sold the house. And I was like, oh, man, okay. Well, I said, my husband and I really wanted, you know, we love the pictures of it. And we're getting ready to start a family. So I would have loved to have been able to, have the opportunity to see it. I asked her something. I don't remember the specific question I asked her. And I know why I asked the question, because I was anticipating that my boyfriend at the time was going to have some sort of excuse. So I asked her something about the buyers. And I remember, and somehow, again, forgive me, I don't remember the
Why did I disappear? No further questions.
question I asked her. But the answer was that it was an older white couple. So I get off the phone.
Whenever someone says older couple, I always think like 60, 70 plus. So my first thought was, what the fuck does an older white couple need with a $340,000 home? Like when someone says older white couple, I immediately think like, okay, they're both retired. What do they need that home for? That's probably a bad assumption to make. Older could mean a lot of things, but that's what I think.
With her, I record an audio diary, and in the audio diary, I specifically say, okay, there is no house. He's going to have to get out of this lie somehow. Because now I realize, at the very least, he was lying about him being the one who was under contract.
This is important. This is what we call a tipping point. This is a tipping point. The seal holding the dam of lies has been broken, and we still have 47 more parts.
I knew enough about that. So I was like, what, how is he going to get out of this? Again, I've listened to the audio diary in 2024. I literally said in that audio diary, how is he going to get out of this lie? And I was trying to think of ways on how he's going to do it. And something said to me, because I say it on the audio diary, I said, he's going to say it's a bad deal. And he's going to say he wants to pull out. Y'all keep in mind, I am pregnant. So I had a decision to make.
That's been the craziest part so far, is like, you have to remember, like, she's doing a really good job at focusing on like one point of the story at a time. When I first heard that they met in March of 2020, I was like, wow, so recently. How is this 52 parts? And now I'm remembering that March 2020 was 4 years ago. Yeah, March 2020 was 4 years ago. It's so crazy to think about that. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So it's like she's doing a really good job at focusing on one aspect of the story at a time. It puts things into perspective when you think about like all of these things are happening at the same time during a pandemic, while she is presumably still working, while presumably he is still working. So all of this is happening all at once.
As ugly as this decision was, I made the decision, you're about to have a baby with this man. He's paying all the household bills. Let him get out of the lie. And that's what I did. I purposely made the decision that I knew he was going to come back, and I knew he was going to give me some bullshit on why he couldn't buy the house, because he didn't know that I knew that house is already sold.
Here's the thing, is like, she's saying like, oh, I caught him in one lie. Catching him in that one lie was so foundational to every other lie that she caught him in like 8 lies at once. She caught him in like 8 lies. Probably a world record. Like that's definitely, she caught him in like 8 lies. And also it feels like she's starting to play chess while he is still playing checkers. Write that down. I was the first person to say that ever.
The house is already sold. And this is the part where I said, I'm gonna be honest, even though it's gonna make me look bad. Because most women in their right mind would have been like, I'm out. And I didn't. So, sure enough, he came home. He didn't really say anything that day. The next day I asked him about the house, and he said, my friend, the realtor,
See, now I'm questioning, is the friend even a realtor? Or is he making that up?
he was like, I'm talking to him because something's going on with the interest rate. And when he said that, I felt so much relief, because I knew that I had been prepared.
All the world's a stage and all the men and women are merely players. John Revels, 2021. Did I say that? What happens if I Google that? Oh, that was Shakespeare. I see. Also known as John Revels on Twitch. Twitch.tv/John Revels. Modern day Shakespeare.
Scared for he's gonna give you some bullshit. So when he said there's something with the interest rate, I said, you know what? If the this is literally what I said, y'all. If the interest
Sounds like Shakespeare stepping on my style. Dude, that Shakespeare motherfucker been biting my shit since day one.
rate isn't good, then we shouldn't move there. We should probably let this house go. We should cancel whatever furniture we ordered, or appliances, and let's just look for another house. I said I would like to be moved before the end of the year. I said I really don't want to be 9 months pregnant moving into a house. I would like to be done with this before then. And the way I said it was so calm, and he was like, okay. He was like, I'm gonna call the realtor, and tell him I'm backing out of the house, and I'm gonna see if I can get my earnest money back. And I remember looking at him. I was standing in the kitchen, and I cocked my head to the side, and I said, okay, get your earnest money back, and let's find another house. And so
I wonder, you think she said it like that? Probably. I would. You kidding me?
that's how that first house fell through. So
How the first house fell through? You mean to tell me there's more houses that fall through? And you stuck it out?
fast forward, I keep looking at this to see how much time I have, because they only give you 10 minutes. So this is part
Only give you 10 minutes is so fucking crazy.
5, part 6 is coming up. But subsequently, what ends up happening the next week, which is mid-June, I was at work, and I started cramping, started bleeding.
Oh no.
And at this point, my doctor, I had just had an ultrasound earlier that day. So I went to work, because the ultrasound was fine. I went to work, and the cramping and the bleeding started, and I started crying because I kind of knew what was going on. And
Oh no.
my doctor had called me and told me that when they did the ultrasound, they did not see a heartbeat. So she was like, this pregnancy is not going to be viable. So I'm crying, hysterical, and now we're going to get into part 6.
What? Oh no. Okay. Yeah, let's all take a deep breath. Okay. Okay. I laughed. This isn't funny. I'm just bad at dealing with awkward situations. So I laugh I laugh to hopefully like break the awkwardness. But dude, that's awful. Didn't know you could have so many plot twists. Me neither. I think this is why in the beginning she said, like, I didn't realize I was going to be living a Lifetime movie. Because this definitely feels like a tragedy.
Okay, so this is part 6 of...
Back up. Scene change? I was not expecting a scene change. Also, her hair looks amazing. I just want to say, chat, part 6, her hair's out of the wrap. It looks great. I love it. it's a sleigh.
Who the fuck did I marry? So, where we left off. So, obviously, my doctor had called and told me there was no heartbeat. The pregnancy was not viable at that point, and I was cramping and spotting at work. Went into my best friend's office and immediately started crying. She was like, "What's going on?" And I said, I told her what the doctor said, and she grabbed her keys, grabbed her purse, and was like, "Let's go. I'm taking you home."
Goated friend. Actually, a 10 out of 10 friend.
On my way home, I called my boyfriend and told him what the doctor said, and he was like, "I'll meet you at home." So he was coming from Duluth, went straight home. And so about 24, 48 hours later, I had a doctor's appointment, and my doctor gave me 3 options. First option, let everything happen naturally. Your body will expel the fetus on its own. Second option, you can take a pill which will induce expelling the fetus at home. The pill basically will cause you to contract and expel. The third option was to go into the hospital and do a DNC. I did not want to do a DNC because
What is a DNC? What is a DNC? I see. Okay. I'm learning so much today.
I did not want to be in a hospital.
I guess I should share my information with the class. It's a dilation and curettage. I see. That's what it is. A curettage?
Hospital with COVID going on. And for whatever reason, I did not do the option of let it happen naturally. So I chose to do the pill. His birthday was June 17th. My ex's birthday was June 17th. So the decision was made, we're going to celebrate his birthday that day, go out to eat. And then that night I would take the pill because we both were off from work the next 2 or 3 days. So went out to eat to try to celebrate as best we could, and then took the pill that night. That night was the most traumatic, excruciating pain I've ever put my body through. I do not recommend any woman, if prayerfully you don't have to go through that, but I don't recommend taking that pill. If you don't have to, don't do it. I spent the whole night in the bathroom just crying in so much pain. They gave me a narcotic. I couldn't take it because I found out I was allergic to it, so it was causing me to like projectile vomiting. It was a mess. So, and he was right there. You know, he was scared that he needed to take me to the ER. But in the morning, the pain kind of subsided. So about 72 hours later, I had another doctor's appointment where the purpose of this appointment was to do an ultrasound to see if everything had passed. Everything did not pass. So because of that, my doctor was like, we're going to have to do a DNC. My DNC was scheduled for the first week of July.
That's so bad. That's awful.
My boyfriend, my ex, was going to take me. That was all.
I'm no stranger to vomiting, also trying to use the bathroom. It's not fun. Definitely worse. Yeah, it would definitely be worse if there's a fetus in there. I feel so bad for her because it feels like life is just, I'll be honest, it seems like the universe is just kind of beating the shit out of her. Like a miscarriage on its own is terrible, but then to be given 3 options and to say, I definitely don't want to do option 3 under any circumstances, and then have to go through the most excruciating pain possible, and then, like, it would really suck. Like, it's really awful that she said, I do not want to do a DNC. That is the worst option. So she goes for this option that is awful. It's terrible. She literally throws up. She is just going through so much pain, and then she has to do the DNC anyways. Like, that's, my God.
Always the plan 2 days before my procedure, he comes home and tells me that he is up for a promotion. He's up to be promoted to VP. Because of this, the president of the company, excuse me, is coming in, and it was going to be this huge business meeting he had to go to. The business meeting was scheduled for the day of my surgery.
What the fuck?
And so I'm throwing a fit because I was like, you there's no way
Also, Chad, is the volume still okay now that she's talking quieter?
you can do that meeting. Like, I need you to take me to the hospital and all this other stuff. And so he offered to have his sister take me to the hospital. Apparently his sister lived in Douglasville. I was like, no, because I've never met her. Like, I'm not having a stranger take me to the hospital. No, this is a private situation. I don't want to do that, blah, blah, blah. So my aunt had offered to take me. And then my friend who took me home from work had offered to
Actually a goated friend. Actually a goated friend.
take me. So at that point, we get into an argument because he's like, my sister is, you about your family, so why can't she step in? And I was like, nah, because I don't know her. Period. I don't know her.
It's a very understandable response. It's a very acceptable response in any context regarding a miscarriage. I feel like that is a very acceptable response.
So my friend offers to take me to the hospital because I was all distressed that he's saying he has a business meeting and he can't take me. So I remember being on I-75 on the connector on the phone with her crying because I was so embarrassed that he wasn't going to be the one to take me and that I was needing to rely on someone else to take me to the hospital in order to get a D&C done. And she was really great. She was like, girl, this is why you have a village. Like, it's okay. Things happen. The world is crazy right now. I will take you. You're going to be okay. So he did not take me to the hospital for my D&C. My friend did. She could not stay because of COVID protocol. So when they wheeled me into pre-op after I got checked in, I texted him and was just letting him know, hey, here's the update. I'm about to, I'm in pre-op. They're going to get me prepared to go back to the surgical ward or whatever. And the response I got was from his new executive assistant named David. Now, when he told me he was up for the promotion, he did tell me that part of getting this new job would be that he would get an executive assistant named David. And he did tell me, I'm going to make sure that I inform David, if you get a text from this number, meaning from me, pull me out of the meeting because, my fiance's having a procedure done and I'm picking her up. So it's important that you come get me if it's something serious.
Are they actually engaged now or no? Did I miss something? I don't think I did. I think he's just using the word fiance, which is fair.
So I text him. David responds. He said, yeah, Mr. Blah Blah told me that you are having a procedure done. If you need me to get him, I can go get him. He's in a meeting. Just let me know what you need. And I just said, no, don't bother him. I'm just giving an update that they're about to take me back. And David responds and says, I'm so sorry you're going through this. Please let me know if there's anything I can do. So I have.
Wait, wasn't the business meeting to determine whether or not he got the promotion? So why does he already have the executive? Why does he already have the assistant if he's in the meeting to determine whether or not he gets his promotion? Right?
I have the procedure. I wake up and I am now in recovery. I should be in recovery 45 minutes up to an hour and a half. I wake up first thing I ask, and I remember asking, is where is so-and-so? The nurse, who was so sweet, she was like, everything went well. You're doing great. She said, we spoke to your fiance. He's on his way. So I said, okay, okay. I kind of dozed back out, but I could still hear everything that was going on. I just could not keep my eyes open to save my life. So I hear her talk to the other nurse. And that's when she said, yeah, Dr. So-and-so called her fiance, and his executive assistant picked up. And the executive assistant said that he was in a business meeting and that
I think he was already high placing in the company before this, and he's just getting more promoted. Yeah, like he was the regional manager, but she said that like part of the promotion was the assistant. So presumably he didn't have the assistant beforehand. Are they like giving him a free trial of the assistant?
you could relay to him what you need to say, and he'll tell the fiance. And my doctor was like, hell no, HIPAA. I need to speak to him.
Those damn HIPAA laws. Those damn HIPAA laws always catching these motherfuckers in their lies.
So apparently my fiance called the doctor back about 30 minutes later, and the doctor informed him she'll be ready to be discharged in about an hour. You can make your way and come pick her up. He said he was on his way. He was on his way from Duluth to Atlanta, which is not a huge distance, but the time of day.
Duluth. Presumably not Duluth, Minnesota, right? Duluth, Georgia. There we go. Duluth is about a half-hour drive. Depending on where in Duluth to where in Atlanta, you're talking maybe 35, 40 minutes.
One thing about Atlanta, there's always traffic. So he should have been there within the hour. I should have only been in recovery an hour and a half. Let's go to the next part.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
It looks like we have a little bit of an intermission. Some clarity.
So I just want to clear up some things that I realized is kind of creating some confusion. So just allow this video to serve as a stop sign. Let's clarify. First of all, the story, background. He was born in Philly, raised in Philly, and moved to Augusta. Story is that he moved to Augusta for high school. After high school, he went to college at San Diego State. Enjoyed San Diego State, stayed in San Diego for quite a while. Got married out in California, had a house in California, played arena football out in California, but his family was back here in Augusta, Georgia. He still had a lot of family up in Philly, but for the most part, he had a sister in Augusta, he had a sister in Douglasville, he had a brother in Baltimore, he had another brother in Philly, and he had a brother in Nashville. So I just want to clarify that in terms of not the demographics, but the geography. Born in Philly, came to Augusta for high school, went to San Diego State for college, played football, stayed at San Diego, got married out there, but still had quite a bit of family here in here in Georgia. He also had a sister, I think I said, who lived in Douglasville. I have physically met his aunt who lived in Augusta. I've met his brother who lives in Augusta. I have spoken on FaceTime with a brother who lives in Baltimore.
Okay.
And then I will demonstrate how he used to talk to the brother that lives in Philly. That's coming up. You haven't missed that. In terms of the proposal, you did not miss the story of the proposal. I simply didn't want to share it because it was embarrassing. Basically, he gave me 3 ring options. We went to a jeweler at the Mall of Georgia. He had me pick out 3 rings. I told him which one I liked the most because I knew it wasn't a romantic proposal at all. I knew which ring I liked the most. I told him which one. He basically said, when I'm ready, I'll give you the ring and I'll propose. Fast forward about, I guess it was summer, because I was actually pregnant when the ring came. We were sitting at the dinner table. He took the ring box out of his pocket,
Sets it on the table. Such a shitty way to propose. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Indulge me for a second, chat. Indulge me for a second. I don't have anything that can act like a table. Could you imagine? You're at dinner with the person that at the time you think is the love of your life. You guys are just eating dinner, I don't know, your Lady and the Tramp and some spaghetti. That feels like more like passing the briefcase in a covert operation than a proposal. Exactly. You guys are Lady and Tramp in the spaghetti. It's got Alfredo sauce on it because Alfredo sauce is great. And then he goes, oh, wait. What do you say? What? Like, that's... Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. Right. Before I forget, before this slips my mind, oh, hey, I picked up something for you.
And I was like, what is this? He was like, open it. I opened it. Inside was the ring that I had wanted, that I had chosen at the jeweler. And he was like, all right, so this means that you're going to be my wife. So, again, when I asked y'all to give me grace, it's because there's certain things that's just like, girl, what was you thinking? Trust me.
Yeah, he didn't even... It's not even that he didn't let her say yes. He didn't give her a question to say yes to, which is like so much worse. Right? He's like, well, this is just life now. This is life. Welcome to life. You're my wife now. We're engaged. Congratulations. Achievement get. Pulls out his phone, plays the Xbox doo-doo-doo sound. Like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know what's worse, not giving her the chance to say yes or not even giving her a question to say yes to. When I slammed the AirPods on my desk, it fucked up my camera. It made my camera want to act all goofy and shit.
There's no excuse. So there was never a, will you marry me? It was more of a, we're living together, we're having a baby together, we need to get married, because the backstory also was that his dad was a retired police officer, but at one point his father was a pastor. So he could quote the Bible like nobody's business, as we all know. So can Lucifer. But anyway, he could quote the Bible like no one's
So can Revels. Don't quiz me on it, though.
business. And so that's how we ended up engaged. And I was wearing a ring. I will find a picture and I will try to post it. But I was wearing the ring. Don't worry, there's more to that story as well. So just wanted to clarify some things for the people who were like, wasn't it weird that he had a sister who lived close, but he's from Philly? So I just wanted to definitely bring clarity to what he told me was the backstory. Born in Philly, came to Augusta for high school, went to California for college, played football at San Diego State, played football and arena football, worked at Apple, and then joined the condiment company in California, who then transferred him back to Georgia. He was married in California, and he told me he got divorced in California. That is important as well. That will come up again later. And so the ex-wife, at this point in time, at the time that
I completely forgot about the ex-wife. I'm going to be honest. I completely forgot about the ex-wife.
telling you part 7, which is the last video I just posted, the ex-wife lived in California with her 2 kids, his 2 stepkids. The 2 stepkids were 17 and 20 or 21, but they were that age group. And he was saying that he was very close with them, so he wanted to keep a tight relationship with them. And he talked to them, if not every day, every other day. When I say, and when I say this, I need y'all to understand. When I say that he talked to someone, it means that he was on the phone in front of me talking to the person. I hope that, because I will touch back on this. He was on the phone in front of me talking to the person. So he talked to his siblings every day. He talked to his aunt almost every day. He talked to his family the way I talk to my family.
It's like a full-time job with how big his family is. Am I crazy? He's got like 7 siblings, an aunt, 2 stepchildren. To talk to all of them every day, is that not like a full-time job?
Almost every day. And again, I will demonstrate how he used to do the phone calls. I will also demonstrate how he used to do the work phone calls, because he called me every single day from work. And he would talk to people while he was on the phone with me. And I could hear people in the background. But that's a whole nother part. So again, buckle your seats. I promise I'm reading your comments, I'm reading your questions, but I wanted to bring this video just to clarify some stuff. Hopefully this helps. And honestly, I know people are fascinated by this, but more than anything, I hope that there's a woman watching this and she's saying to herself, okay, it's time for me to ask some questions.
This message goes out to anybody, specifically ladies, women, female presenting people, people who identify as female, people who might see themselves as a little more likely to be taken advantage of. Always ask questions. I think one thing I've learned in the past 4 years of my relationship is communication is like number 1, which I know is like obviously everyone says that, but like having genuine open communication is probably the most important thing. Always ask questions. Never, if you get an answer that doesn't make sense to you, tell them that. Because you should always be able to explain something a different way, if that makes sense.
That's my hope. Part 7.
By the way, Revels, it's real pog how supporting you've been about gender identity. Yeah. Why wouldn't I be? I have a very simple view of the world, and that's if you're doing something that is not harmful to other people, then it's okay. It's that simple. Like if you are ever out in your real life and you for some reason have the thought, would Revels think this thing is pog and chill and cool? The simple question is what I'm doing or is what I'm seeing harmful to other people, or could it be harmful to other people? If it is harmful to other people, then Revels does not think it's cool and pog. If it is not harmful to other people, then Revels thinks it's cool and pog. I think when you break it down, if I had to like in one simple sentence break down how I view the world, is just don't harm other people. Don't like inconvenience other people. Don't be a nuisance to other people. Don't be hurtful to other people. There's no reason, especially if they're not hurting anything. And also my brother is trans male, and I think that I don't know how to explain this without it making it seem like I was anti-trans beforehand, but I think having a trans male brother gave me a different perspective that opened me up to a lot more like sympathetic and empathetic views. And also because my brother's very like one night randomly, I texted my brother. Let me find the exact text. Here it is. Okay. I had 2 questions for my brother one night, and he was very like open about answering them, which I always appreciate it when he's open about answering them. And I always preface it like I literally said, I have a question that only you can answer as a trans male. And I said, if this is a question I should not ask, or if this is a question that you are not comfortable answering, just tell me and I will die with this level of curiosity. And then I asked him, I said, as a trans male, do you still get a pap smear? He said yes. And then I asked him, I said, like, what in your life led to you realizing? I think it's always fine to be curious. I think it's fine to be curious, but I think like I always feel bad. Like, I don't want to ask a question that is dysphoric. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to ask a question that imposes that like I shouldn't ask, if that makes sense. But then I asked my brother, I said, hey, again, if you don't want to answer, like if you're not comfortable answering, that's perfectly fine. I was like, I am just curious. Like, what in your life made you realize, or like what in your life opened you up to the idea of being transgender? And then what about your life made you realize that you were transgender? Like, that kind of gave you that, I don't know if I'm phrasing it right, but like I guess like what was your realization? And then we had like a whole discussion about it. And I was like at the end of it, I was like, cool, like thanks for answering. Because I don't know, I was just curious. Like, I kid you not, chat, I texted him at 12:30 in the morning, which isn't that late, but like that's a weird, like it's late to be asking like really deep interpersonal questions. But yeah, I think having a trans brother definitely opened me up to a lot more sympathy and empathy. And yeah, I think also like just the baseline of like if somebody is transgender, they're not harming anybody. They're not hurting anybody. They're just trying to live a life that they're comfortable with, and that's cool. I'm cool with that. So, anyways, back to what we're here for.
Who the fuck did I marry? So I should have been in recovery at Northside Hospital for about at most an hour and a half. Subsequently, I ended up being in recovery between 3 to 3.5 hours. The nurses kept calling my ex, asking what's the status, because they were actually getting ready to do a shift change. So they kept calling, asking what's the status, like, where are you?
I missed something. We went from an hour and a half to a shift change. Is that just like unlucky timing?
5 hours. nurses kept calling my ex, asking what's the status, because they were actually getting ready to do a shift change. So they kept calling, asking, what's the status? What's the status? Like, where are you? I want to say that they called a total of 3 times and they spoke to him twice. So at this point, I knew that they were all like, where's her fiance? Like, what is going on? He said he was stuck in traffic, and so he was making his way there. He eventually did get to Northside Hospital, and they wheeled me down because, again, he couldn't come in just because of the protocols. So when I
It's so easy to forget that all of this is happening during COVID too. Like, that's the craziest part.
got in the car, and I'm in pain, but yet drugged up, couldn't keep my eyes open, I was just out of it. But I remember him calling my aunt and my mother and letting them know, I picked her up, we're on the way home, let me get her settled, and then I'll give you guys an update. I remember that. What I did not know was that he had texted my aunt and my mom and asked them to not bother me for.
So now he's isolating her. For the record, that is like textbook isolation.
For like a week. Like, just please don't reach out to her. Let her just rest. I am from New Jersey. I am from an African American family. You don't tell my black mama or my black aunt that, please don't bother her for a week. I didn't know this at the time.
Fucking moth. Sitting on the light. If it gets any closer, I'm gonna kill it.
But I'm just interjecting that part. I'm trying to stay in the timeline, but he did apparently do that, and my aunt was like, "Why will fuck you up?" Anyway, so go home. He waits on me hand and foot. I recover. Just needed about 24 to 48 hours to just get my mind right. During this time, in between when the house in Douglasville fell through, we had not.
The house in Douglasville just fell. It just crumbled. The house in Douglasville just straight up crumbled.
Talked about a house. So I guess it was about a week later, after the DNC, he decides that, do you want to start looking for a house again? Excuse me, I have hiccups, y'all. Do you want to start looking for a house again? Because of what happened with the house in Douglasville, I felt like I was smarter this time.
If I were about to be bought by such a guy, I'd crumble immediately too. That's fair. The house just checks out. The house is like, hey, nope.
To say, I want to be involved in every aspect, because I don't know what the fuck happened with that house in Douglasville. But what I do know is that he lied to me. I didn't know then what I know now. I just knew he lied about I knew he lied about being under contract. So I told him, I said, I don't want to work with your friend who I've never met, never talked to.
Let's go.
That he has talked to him, because he's talked to him in front of me. And I'm going to demonstrate on one of the videos how he used to do his phone calls. Don't worry, it's coming. So we found a new real estate agent. Really nice guy. His name was Scott. I am using his real name. Really nice guy.
Is Scott the GOAT?
We told him what the budget was. And Scott was like, okay, when you guys are ready, we can start looking at houses. Try to look for houses that are empty, because you can actually tour those. If it's a house where someone's already living in there,
Scott's the
chances are
GOAT.
It's going to be a virtual tour because of COVID. So I found a house that I absolutely, in total, we must have looked at about 15 houses. But I found a house in Smyrna that I absolutely loved. We toured the house. Everything about this house was perfect. The house.
Back up. Was that 7 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms?
So I found a house that I absolutely, in total, we must have looked at about 15 houses. But I found a house in Smyrna that I absolutely loved.
There's a 5,000 square foot house.
We toured the house. Everything about this house was perfect. The house was listed for $699,000. It was a brand new construction build. The only issue was that the basement was not finished, and he wanted the basement to be his man cave.
Whole
Again,
basement?
I went with him to tour this house, so this was already feeling very different than the situation in Douglasville, because we did not actually tour.
Why is she thinking so big? Because remember, according to what he told her, which is all the information that she had to go off of, he got approved for a $750,000 mortgage. So she was just looking for houses in that price range that she liked.
The Douglasville house, we only did a FaceTime virtual tour. This house in Smyrna, we toured. We toured this house more than once. And it was gorgeous. Fucking gorgeous. So we talked about it. He said that he had the money.
See?
Again, the price was $699. He said he felt comfortable putting in an all-cash offer. If you remember on the videos before, he told me he had money in his savings from when he played football. So
I don't think any realtor would sell you a $700,000 home all cash. Am I crazy? That just seems like bad business.
and he said an all-cash offer, even I knew you got that kind of money, like where you can cut a cashier's check for $699,000, and he told me he did. He had money in savings from when he played football, and he was very comfortable paying all cash for this home. So the real estate agent, Scott, sent over the paperwork. The paperwork was sent in both of our names. It was sent to my email. That was another thing that I changed after Douglasville. Everything gets sent to me. And then I will be sure that he's
good for her.
So he sent it to me. I looked over the offer. We were going to put in an all cash, full price offer with a request to have the basement finished. Also, we were requesting for the seller to give us an answer within 24 hours. We were requesting a quick closing. These are just some of the things I remember. I remember 24 hours, like I didn't want to wait on, y'all think about it. 24 hours, let us know if you're accepting the offer or not. And then also a quick closing because it was a new construction. So we didn't have to wait for the current tenant to move out. We didn't have to do that. So I watched in our bedroom as he pulled it up because it was a electronic document. He signed his name to the offer.
Okay.
For $699,000 cash. He requested again, the seller let us know in 24 hours if they were accepting the offer. So we submitted the offer at around 6 p.m. We were requesting that by 6 p.m. the next day, they let us know if the offer was accepted or not. I watched him sign the offer. I sent the offer back to Scott from my email. All parties had signed.
Okay.
Scott texted us and said, I got it. I'm submitting it. I will let you know what they say. Let's go into part 7. Sorry. Let's go into part 8. Good grief, this is getting long.
All right, chat. And on that note, I don't know if you guys checked the time. God damn. God damn. All right, chat. On that note, at the end of part 7 of the story, it is unfortunately that time of the night. I don't know about you guys. I'm invested. I'm fully invested. We're going to pick this back up on Sunday. We're going to keep watching. We're going to watch all the way through. I feel like I'm watching a fucking movie, dude. Am I crazy? But chat, that is all the time that I have for you guys. So I do appreciate you guys stopping in and enjoying this with me. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much. Hope you guys are having as much fun with it as I am. Other than that, that's really all the time I have for you guys tonight. So I'm going to get out of here. Reminder, no stream tomorrow, but we will be back on Sunday for more Who the Fuck Did I Marry? We got to TikTok number 10. So we'll see how it goes. I'm out of here, chat. Have a good night. I will see you Sunday. Bye-bye, chat. Good night. Goodbye. Goodbye, chat. Later.